else's neck. So please all stand up, inshallah. Let us all stand up. Look at our row. Make sure that it is complete from both sides. If there is a spot beside you, kindly invite the person behind you to come forward and fill in that gap. Once our rows are complete, Brother, come close to the inshallah. Once our rows are complete, inshallah, we may have a seat. Brothers who are outside, please make your way, inshallah. There's a lot of room inside. Jazakumullah khairan.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول حي على الصلاة حي على حي على الفلاح حي على الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
لله الحمد رب السماوات ورب الأرض رب العالمين وله الكبرياء في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. نحمده تعالى وهو جل وعلا ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا مولانا محمدا عبد الله ورسوله بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة فجزاه الله عنا وعن كل المسلمين خيرا. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد عبدك ورسولك النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا. أما بعد، رب يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين يا فتاح. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. ربي زدني علما والحقني بالصالحين. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. سبحانك لا فهم لنا إلا ما فهمتنا إنك أنت الجواد الكريم. My dear respected elders, brothers and sisters and fellow children in Islam, I would like to tell you all a story today. A story which I believe all of us already know. Now, I'm not here to tell that story because it's befitting to the season or because it's a good filler for the next 23 minutes, but because it has within it many gems that we can extract to highlight the subject matter of today, insha'Allah. I will not be able to complete the entirety of the story, but certain sections of the story, for my goal, inshallah, is to extract, expand, and clarify 2 points. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He guides my heart, our homes, our communities to what is best. Ameen Rabbil Alameen. The topic of today's sermon is family is family is family. The story of Ibrahim alayhi salam is greatly associated with Hajj because the origin of Hajj is as old as the re-erection of the Kaaba, which was rebuilt by Ibrahim alayhi salam and his son Ismail alayhi salam. Every act of Hajj reminds us of the noble family of Ibrahim alayhi salam, since every act of Hajj refers back to the righteous actions, the struggles of either Ibrahim alayhi salam, Hajar alayhi salam, or Ismail alayhi salam. Let us focus in on point number 1 of 2 today. Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam was born in a family of idolaters. People who worshipped idols and were committed to their idols. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states in chapter number 21 verse 51 that from early childhood Allah blessed him. He endowed him with a special spiritual understanding. وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا إِبْرَاهِيمَ رُشْدَهُ مِنْ قَبْلِ. Ibrahim alayhi salam was gifted sound judgment way before, i.e. from childhood. وَكُنَّا بِهِ عَالِمِينَ, and we were well aware of him. So he's born in a family where through that sound judgment he realizes what his parents, what his community is doing isn't right. So he objected. He objected to their actions and the actions of his father and the actions of his community. But we all know it fell on deaf ears for the most part. They worshipped these celestial bodies and they venerated them and they had no value. He objected not because he was jealous of what they were worshipping, but because he, as he was seeking a higher power, the true power, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he wanted them to realize that this isn't your Lord. But we know too well that when a child talks, it's a child talking. What does a child know? The first lesson I want to expand upon is that we don't pick our families, but we can pick our friends. The reason it is so, by the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is that the friends you pick, that you select, that you choose, will not be friends tomorrow. But the family that you had no choice, you will be asked in reference to them tomorrow. For Rahim, blood, is one of the major questions on the Day of Judgment. The ties of blood. Where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in chapter 43 verses number 67, in reference to friendship, الْأَخِلَّاءُ يَوْمَئِذٍ بَعْضُهُمْ لِبَعْضٍ عَدُوٌّ إِلَّا الْمُتَّقِينَ. Friends on the Day of Judgment shall be enemies one to another, except for those who were guiding and guarded themselves against evil, i.e. their friendship was also based off of a foundation of what it means to be family. where you're truly looking out for each other for the greater good. We learn from this short story, excerpt of Ibrahim alayhi salam's family, that no family is perfect. Put your shoes in the shoes of Ibrahim alayhi salam, and I'm sure you'd say, I would have asked, why was I born in this family? I wish I had a better family. But there's too many expectations in our world today. And expectations of perfection should not exist in the circle of family. Parents' expectations for their children and children's expectations from their parents should be within a practical realm, not a fantasy realm. Yes, Ibrahim alayhi salam argued with his father. He debated with his father. He called his father out. He was sick and tired of what his father and community was doing. Because remember, Ibrahim alayhi salam's father was building those idols. And what differentiated his father from the community was the community believed you needed to worship the idols to get to the God. But Ibrahim alayhi salam's father didn't believe in the God. He just believed in the idols. So ultimately he left. But before we talk about him leaving, there's a story being told here. He made effort. He tried. An effort has to be made to make the family a family once more. And when you do so, you will be helping both sides of the equation. Children, when they make effort, they'll be helping their parents. Parents, when they make effort, they'll be helping their children. Continuing forward, we learn that how Ibrahim alayhi salam communicated with his father may be perceived as disrespectful. But Surah Maryam puts a close to that assumption. He did speak what was in his heart. He didn't speak what was in his mind. He spoke what was in his heart. But he spoke that too clearly, openly, but with respect. إذ قال لأبيه يا أبت لما تعبد ما لا يسمع ولا يبصر ولا يغني عنك شيئا. Oh dad, oh father, why are you worshipping this thing? It can't see you. It can't hear you. It can't help you. Forget helping you. It can't help itself. If one of the idols were to fall down, he can't get up again. You give him a leaf, he still can't get up. You give him a walking stick, he can't get up. Why? Because he's stone. Dad, why are you worshipping these things? But he did not say, oh Azhar, what are you doing? He said, oh my father, my father, my father. يا أبت إني قد جاءني من العلم ما لم يأتك. Oh my father, I've got knowledge which you haven't got yet. فاتبعني, just follow my instincts, follow my direction. أهدك صراطا سويا, I'll guide you to the right path. يا أبت لا تعبد الشيطان. Oh my father, don't worship the devil. For the devil is Allah's open sinner. He's an open denier of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya abati, inni akhafu an yamassaka adhabu min ar-Rahmani fatakuna lish-shaytani waliya. Oh my father, I'm saying this to you because I fear that the punishment of the Lord may take you. We're still on the point of parents and children. But another perspective or angle that we should touch on is how we communicate. Parents today don't want to talk to their children because they fear retaliation, they fear arguments, and they fear losing their relationship with their child. So they just ignore whatever they do. So long the police don't knock the door, and so long you don't kill yourself or someone else, do what you want. As long as you think of me as a good father. The son here is teaching the truth has to be upheld. It has to be reminded. It has to be enforced in certain ways. And that does not denote that you hate the other. So fellow parents, Your children today in America will talk to you what's in their heart, what's on their mind, and they may not speak to you the way that you were raised to speak to your elders. But guess what? They're talking. As you teach them direction, as you teach them modesty, as you teach them manners, allow them to speak for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are not living in a time where the norm was to look down and talk, to lower your voice and talk. And that's evident from what I spoke about last week, that even in front of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, where he is resting at this time, لا ترفعوا أصواتكم فوق صوت النبي. Don't raise your voices above the voice of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. People are laughing and talking and taking pictures and taking videos. I don't know if they even give salam. The era that we are in is a very peculiar and confusing time. But this doesn't mean our children shouldn't speak. And to my fellow children, know that politeness and humbleness is a quality that gives weight to your message. Don't forget that. We should not raise our voices until or unless the matter in discussion is detrimental to life or property. We need to learn how to speak to each other once more in a home. It's gone. That model does not exist anymore. A final angle of children-parent relationship, as we are extracting this gem from the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam, many of us can say we've had an imperfect childhood one way or the other. Things might have happened in our life that we were not happy with, that we did not approve of. We may still today hold certain grudges against our parents, our grandparents, our uncles, our aunts, or our siblings. But that does not mean that you replicate the same demeanor that happened to you on your children. Remember, when Ibrahim a.s. is talking to his father is telling him, just be quiet. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm sure he got scarred that as a son of this father, he had no value in his eyes. His words meant nothing. His father said, أَرَاغِبٌ أَنْتَ عَنْ آلِهَتِ يَا إِبْرَاهِيم. You're trying to rebel from our God? لَإِن لَمْ تَنْتَهِ لَأَرْجُمَنَّكَ وَهْجُرْنِي مَلِيًّا. You don't stop, I'll say metaphorically, joote nikal ke marunga tumhe. I'll take my shoes off and beat you. Metaphorically. قَالَ سَلَامٌ عَلَيْكَ. Oh my dad, peace be on you. Peace be on you. You want to harm me. I'm your son. But you want to ignore me. I'm your son. And you want to think that I'm not existing. I'm your son. It's okay. Salamun alayk. Now when Ibrahim a.s. became a father, he could have done the same thing to Ismail a.s. I'll take the stick out and beat you. But when Allah commanded Ibrahim a.s., hit your son and slaughter him, he went to his son. Ya bunayya, oh my beloved son, oh my small child, inni araa fil anami anni adbahuka fanzur madha tara. I thought I was slaughtering you in my dream. Tell me, what's your thought? Ibrahim alayhi salam has no right to consult with his son on something he saw in his dream, because the dream was revelation. He had to do it. But he's teaching us another gem. Conversation, communication with your family is essential. And to ensure that you don't replicate the vice and evil and the ill practices that were done on you is evident the day that you do better than what you received. There are 8 quick steps to raising children. Spend time with them. Time spent together. Assist them emotionally and intellectually. Remind them of their path through your actions. Be of benefit for them. Inspire them to see the qualities and abilities within them. Yearn for their goodness. Don't push them from what you want as good for them. Ask Allah for them. Pray for your children. Parents, ask yourself, how many times do I pray for my children? Children, ask yourself, how many times do I pray for my parents? And last but not least, train them. They're your children, no one else's. If you take the first word of each of these points, it spells tarbiyat, which means the gradual, sustainable, long-term development of your children. So point one, brothers and sisters, of the 2 points is how to mend and rectify a parent-child relationship. Let's move on to the second and final point of today. Sarah, who was the first wife of Ibrahim alayhi salam, could not have children. Ibrahim alayhi salam would make dua, "Oh Allah, grant me a righteous son." Hajra alayhi salam then married Ibrahim alayhi salam, and Allah says in chapter number 37, verse number 101, we gave him a good news of a boy ready to suffer and forbear. The name of that child that Hajra alayhi salam gave birth to was Ismail alayhi salam. At a time when Ibrahim alayhi salam was 86 years old. He is known as Ismail because it comes from the root word of sami'a, which means to hear, because Allah heard his prayer. I want a child. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us what's the purpose of marriage. It's a forgotten thing. تَنَاكَحُوا تَكَثَّرُوا فَإِنِّي أُبَاهِي بِكُمُ الْأُمَمَ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. Marry and have children. It's the only way this world functions. You grow up, you give birth to children, they grow up, they give birth to children, and humanity continues. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, get married and have children, because on the day of judgment, I want to be happy to see the size of my ummah. There's no other reason of marriage, brothers and sisters, even though if the cultural norms say otherwise. One of the things I want to extract from this second point is expectations in marriage. What Ibrahim a.s. was hoping for is a very simple thing. It was an expectation. But expectations of a perfect fairy tale marriage is leading to having no marriages anymore. We need to live marriage as a marriage and not as a dream. No marriage is what you as a boy or a girl, a man or a woman, had thought out in your head to be. And the more you stick or you fixate upon your fantasy, the more your marriage will hurt you. It will be a good marriage, but since it doesn't match your expectations, it's going to only hurt you. Now, Ibrahim alayhi salam has his newborn son. The child is so young, little baby. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands Ibrahim alayhi salam to take his family to a place that is deserted, a valley which is dead. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu narrates this story, and due to time I cannot read the entire narration to you, that he one day told his family, gather your belongings, we're going on a journey. So they went, and they arrived at this place. And when he stopped, they started looking around, like, what are we doing here? You know, where's the Airbnb? Where's the Holiday Inn? You know, what's going on here? There's nothing here. And he turned and he walked. Hajra alayhi salam said, oh Ibrahim, where are you going? You're leaving us in this valley where there's no person whose company we may enjoy. There's nothing here we can enjoy. She kept on asking him, what are you doing? And he said nothing, because Allah commanded him to stay quiet. But she knew the foundation of their marriage. And the foundation of their marriage was trusting Allah. If you can trust Allah, you will trust each other. But if you can't trust Allah, there will never be trust in the marriage. So she said, did Allah order you to do so? And he nodded in the affirmative. She said, then He will not neglect us. Fast forward through the story in your head, brothers and sisters. This narration from Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala, the milk ran out. The food that they had ran out. And she's running between the mountains, back and forth. And in her final time, she hears a voice speaking to her by the mountain of Marwa. She became quiet and listened attentively. Then she heard the voice again and she said, "Oh, whoever you may be, you have made me hear your voice. Have you got something to help me?" And behold, she saw an angel at the place where Zamzam is today. And with his wing he struck and water began to flow. Rasulullah prayed for Hajj alayhi salam. May Allah bless her. She made a barrier around it and made it a Zamzam well. If not, it would have become a lake or we don't know what. And then what happened was, she drank and she nourished her body and her sons. And then the people of Jurhum were one day passing by. They saw birds in this desert. And they said, birds are nowhere in the desert unless there's water. And then they were the first to settle there, long story short. And when Ismail a.s. grew up, he married one from them. The point being, brothers and sisters, do with what is accessible and the circumstances that you are surrounded by in your marriage. No marriage is perfect. Marriage itself is a difficult road. Teach that to your children. Teach them it's hard, but teach them it can be solved. Teach them that there's a way through it. Don't fight, don't argue, and make them hate what marriage is. For marriage would not have been half your deen if it was that easy. When we complain, husbands and wives, we are closing the doors of Allah. Hajar alayhi salam had every right to complain. She had every right to scream on the top of her lungs. What is wrong with this old man? I trusted him and he's leaving me here alone. Where's my mahram? Where's my protector? No, we trust Allah. Allah is going to take care of me. And Allah certainly did, because she did not complain, Allah opened the doors of His treasures upon them both. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to understand the value of a parent-child relationship and understand and rectify a husband and a wife relationship. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا. Brothers and sisters, we hadn't even gotten into the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam's life. We just touched the surface. But we've taken two very important points. And the reason I'm touching upon these points today, brothers and sisters, is because we know from parents to children, husband and wife, we are falling into serious problems in our homes today because of the absence of what we are learning about today. The result is actually very disturbing. Domestic violence, abuse, threatening words are becoming the norm in homes. Here at your home, the Islamic Association of Collin County, as we promised you from the get-go that we are going to work strategically with you as our brethren, our brothers and sisters in faith, to ensure that we work strategically to identify, to formulate solutions, and to change the status quo of whatever affects or impacts any of us or all of us. This has been my commitment to you from the get-go, and that is why we are working in the manner that we are working to uphold goodness for all of you who call this place home. And because of that, when we identified in the first 7 months the crisis that we're facing in marriages here in this community, and the crisis that we're facing in children and parent relationships, we launched something known as Sakina Services. We launched it here so that we can do something unique. That where marriages and relationships were tipping off and falling into abyss, we could start mediating the process to mold it, fix it, and push it back while through our religious wing, we educate the adults and children of today to become better parents and children and spouses of tomorrow. We call on all of you as this service has been launched, and we are gaining calls and demands for our services from throughout this community and beyond. That number one, you know that there's a service here known Sakina service. Number two, you utilize and benefit from this service. And number three, brothers and sisters, you help in this service. We are still looking for people, licensed, professional counselors who can help, because the burden is becoming very heavy quite fast. So inshallah, upon the completion of Jum'ah, when you exit, you will get some material in reference to Sakina services. Let us help ourselves, to help our families, to help our community, so that we have some level of stability tomorrow. Getting help is nothing wrong, brothers and sisters. There is nothing wrong in your spirituality or in your faith if you seek services for problems that you suffer with. We send salutations and blessings upon Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who guided us towards perfect solutions and who allowed us to see hope and in trust of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala sayyidina Muhammad abdika wa rasulika an-nabiy al-ummi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa baraka wa sallama tasliman kathira. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه اللهم ألف بين قلوبنا وأصلح ذات بيننا واهدنا سبل السلام وجنبنا الفواحش ما ظهر منها وما بطن اللهم اشف مرضانا وعاف مبتلانا وارحم موتانا يا رب العالمين اللهم اغفر للحاج ولمن استغفر له الحاج اللهم اجعل حجهم حجا مبرورا وعملا مقبولا وسعيا مشكورا وتجارة لن تبور آمين يا رب العالمين آمين يا رب العالمين آمين يا رب العالمين إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروا الله يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. Please ensure that our lines are straight. Stand shoulder to shoulder. Edge of our heels should be on the edge of the line. Please ensure that our cell phones are either switched to silent or completely turned off. Looking for
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر